before, through those open doors, where I now just lost your voice. I don't want the place where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page. And yes, you can see us live right here in WMVA 88.9 and WGPL 1350 studio. And if you want to hear us all over the world, all you have to do is go to WPCE1400.com or WGPL1350.com. Click and listen live. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It is absolutely a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors. Let's welcome our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM, WGPL 1350 AM, WMVA 88.9 FM, and WPCE 1400 AM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. Go to Cristo Records 1 at YouTube, CRISTO, or FYI Radio Show host Yolanda Hinton at YouTube, our newest platform. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we promise we'll shout you out.
Shout out, yeah.
Woo! Miss E, how was your weekend?
I had a great weekend. I did absolutely squat. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I didn't absolutely. Wait a minute. Let me back up. I did go to church on Sunday.
Hey, that's something.
So I did something on Sunday. But other than that, I went to the market. I went here. I did a little something, tried to clean my little car out, but you know.
I know. I had a great weekend. Yesterday was really easy going. And Friday, oh my goodness, Friday was a little different than usual. But I'm glad to be back here. And Mr. E was holding it down. We had a couple of
great guests
and everything. Yeah. So I'm back here and ready for Mondays, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we do, I wanted to mention our sponsors, Bulwark Academy and Beard Guards. And I also wanted to make an announcement about Cristo Community Development Corporation is recruiting girls 10 to 17 years old. Yes, this is that time where we get back after the summer for the Young Women Achieving Success Mentoring Program. Very excited about it. Girls are already up and ready, Mr. E. I got new girls coming in. We have a wonderful meeting, a Zoom meeting that's going to take place this week. If you all are interested in your girls being in a wonderful mentoring program, the site is in Chesapeake. I've been doing this since 2006. Cristo Community Development Corporation is a 501c3 organization since 2004. So if you all are interested in a wonderful mentoring program for your girls, give me a inbox here, or you can actually give me a email, that would be great. At crystalcommunity@cox.net. CRISTO, crystalcommunity@cox.net. Give me an email or inbox me. Let me know. Yes, I would love for my girls to be a part of it. Also, I'll give you some information because January we will probably have a site in Virginia Beach as well. And we'll let you know more about that later. So please inbox me or email me.
One of the things you said that was so great, Miss Hinton, is now you're doing virtual.
Oh, yeah. It's going to
yeah.
be, well, we have a site in Chesapeake, but we also will be virtual for some of our meetings. And then we'll have outside activities and field trips and all kind of things. So excited about it this year. So you all get in touch with me for your young ladies. And we want parents to, really know that we are that support system for them. We're not trying to take the place of parents or guardians, but we really want to be that support system. So make sure you reach out. But Mr. E, let's move on because this is FYI Monday Sports Talk.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Heard all over the world. Sports is back into the air. And what a barn burner that we had on yesterday.
Oh my goodness. We're going to talk about the NFL Week 7, but we're also going to mention the WNBA Finals with Minnesota versus New York. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Mr. E, what do you think about NFL Week 7?
Well, when I began to look at NFL Week 7, I said to myself, what some outstanding games, what some barn burner, and then they're doing a lot of playing football. I mean,
yes,
they're down to the basics and playing football. Who's in? But they got a lot of mess in it.
There's
too.
some stuff. You're
stuff
right.
in it.
It is definitely right. We checked out Week 7 on last week, actually. Mentioning some of the games that were going to be played that Monday evening. Mr. E, can you tell us about that game?
Well, that Monday evening that we just had, that was who that played that Monday? Oh, that was the Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that's tonight. The Ravens and the Buccaneers playing tonight.
Last Monday kicked it off.
Monday kicked it off, and last Thursday kicked it off. That was Denver Broncos against the Saints. Yeah, that was.
Oh my goodness, the Broncos beat them 33-10.
They won't take you no hostages.
Oh, what in the world happened?
That was the game. My man, I heard a little chatter about the Saints, and the Saints are having a hard time. So
yeah, they're talking about the Saints now.
Yeah, because the Saints today, Kamala, he came and ran over the Cowboys like it wasn't anything, and now they are struggling trying to get back on board. But I heard some juice over the weekend, Miss Hinton, where Kamara, who's the running back for the New Orleans Saints, Saints, is trying to get with them boys.
Oh my goodness. Somebody's trying to get with them boys.
Them good old boys.
Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and talk about Week 7 and the weekend.
Well, when we look at week number 7, we find that the first ticket on the market was played in London. The game was scheduled to play in London. That was the Jacksonville Jaguar and the New England Patriots.
Okay.
And the score was 32-16. The Patriots, they lost in London. Why go all the way to London?
Well, the Patriots are not doing that well, Mr. E. First of all,
why go all the way to London?
They're 1-6.
They're 1-6 over in London. They spent all that money to go to London to lose.
Well, Jaguars, they won, but they know better. They're 2-6.
They're 2-5. Yeah.
2-5.
Yeah.
And it's just it's amazing. The Jaguars, I thought they would do a little bit better, but they did win.
32-16. They went over there, represented Jacksonville in London.
Absolutely.
And then we had the barn burner coming on that game on yesterday.
Yes.
The Seattle Seahawks played against the Atlanta Falcons, and they beat the Birds right out the front.
I mean, were you surprised? They both are doing like well, I think 4-4.
Well, I was
Well, what do you think?
I was crossing my finger for the Seattle Seahawks because I know they miss Russell Wilson.
Oh, you think so?
No,
We're gonna talk about him
I,
later
I,
too.
I,
But you know what, Miss Lee, I am not all that familiar with the Seahawks and the Falcons, but they seem to be doing pretty good this season.
yeah, they doing a wonderful job out there. The Seahawks, they are a one and done. They are 3-4, 3 and what? They're 4-3. Yeah, they're 4-3. So they both of them are tied for how many games they won and how many games they lost.
And I'm not familiar because I haven't followed them as much last season or this season, but I do always hear the names, and so we see that they are halfway decent.
They're halfway decent, and they're looking good out there. And they got some key players that are out there with them also. Like for example, they got Kirk Cousins playing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they did. Oh God! I looked up at the door. Guess what I saw?
What did you say? The Steelers are in the house. You look. We're gonna talk about them in a minute as well. We want to say good morning to Mark A. Howard. I know he's cheesing. We're gonna talk about his team. Look, we're gonna talk about his team because his team is definitely coming through.
Well, the quarterback got hurt, so
I know it. We'll talk about that in a minute.
That's right.
But let's talk about the Bills and the Titans.
The Tennessee Titans playing my good friend Jude Joyner and my nephew Tracy Francis. I want to say good morning to you. Sir, y'all not doing too good. Y'all are one and done.
What's going on?
Done. The Tennessee Titans had not been on the trail mix for a long time. they last year they had a good run, but this year, you know, they're not doing too much of anything. If you listen to any of the Tennessee Titans fans, you see that they need this, they need that, they need, and you know, all the teams that's got that low number will say that they need a whole lot. So the Buffalo Bills came by with Diggs.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
With Diggs playing that on the outside, and they won. The score was
34 to 10.
34 to 10. So my hat's off to Tony Pollard. Plays also with the Tennessee Titans.
They jumped ship from the Cowboys.
He
Why did he leave the Cowboys?
Well, see, because we'll talk about that because Ezekiel wanted to come back. He'll play for the Cowboys for free. And so they said we get Ezekiel for nothing, less than anything, and then we can make the money to pay Dak Prescott, but we got to let Pollard go.
Right, yeah. Well, let's talk about the Bengals and the Browns, my grandson's former team, both of them. But I tell you what, they're kind of talking about the Browns in a bad way. They're not doing too good either.
Well, the talk on the town is about the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He got hurt yesterday. When he got hurt yesterday, and not only that, Deshaun Watson, he got in some trouble. And that's all that, you know, when he got hurt yesterday, they booed him instead of hoping that he'd get up and play. They booed him, and, you know, because, you know, what they heard through the grapevine and what happened, what he got into. So the Cleveland Browns lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals are looking real good. Jay Barris, who's the quarterback for them, did a wonderful job. He had about, he was 45 out of 25. He had 181 yards yesterday and had 2 touchdowns. So he did a wonderful job, and our hats off to the Cincinnati Bengals, 21-14.
Here we go with the Texans and the Packers. That was a good game, and it was really close too. 22-24. Green Bay came through.
Green Bay came through. I got to get the Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers. No, not Aaron Rodgers. No,
wrong team.
That's right. I like Aaron Rodgers. So, but when I looked at the Bengals, I looked at my boy who plays with the Houston, Texas, and I said to myself, Love brought him through. That's his name for the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. He didn't quit. He kept right on pushing, and
Yes.
and when I saw him kept right on pushing, I said, this cat gonna try to put something on the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay
It was a
Packers
good
beat the
game.
Houston
Yes.
Oilers, who's a 5-2. Now the Houston
Absolutely.
Tennessees are a 5-2, and the Green Bay Packers are
The
5-2.
Texans,
So
five
the
and two.
score was 24-22.
Yes, the Texans and the Packers.
That's right.
They toe to toe.
That's right.
So this one, this one is a little disappointing to me. The Dolphins and the Colts. The Dolphins, I don't know what you're trying to do this season, but it's a little disappointing. But you were beat by the Colts, which it was 16-10.
That's right. 16-10.
The Colts are doing all right.
They're 4-3. Yeah.
But the Dolphins, I'm just wondering what's happening to them this season.
Well, they missed Billy White Shoe Johnson, who used to play for the Miami Dolphins back in the 60s. So
no, you didn't say 60s. In the meantime, let's go to this. This
was a barn burner.
But a disappointment again for me, which are the Lions and the Vikings. I know you all made the Lions, but I had high hopes for the Vikings because they seem like they were on a winning streak. They're still doing good. They're 5-1. The Lions are 5-1, but they were beat by the Lions 31-29. The Vikings, look. We're looking for y'all to come through. I got my niece, my nephew, who are Vikings fans, and that's why I rah for them.
Well, the thing about the Vikings, let's go back to the Vikings. The Detroit Lions beat the Cowboys last week, so they put a job on them. So we accept that loss. But yesterday game, win or lose, and however you do this, it was a field goal. It was the kickers who won the game yesterday for the Detroit Lions. So everybody plays an important role there. So they kept the Detroit Lions at a 5-1, going against the Minnesota Vikings, who also was a 5-1, and the final score was a field goal. He put his foot in it. So you got to say, which foot did he use? He put his foot, and then he did his little dance. That was 31-29.
All right. Well. Look, the Eagles. Thank you, Philadelphia, because Philadelphia to me is a champion team, and I'm just really glad that they came through with this game. Even though the Giants, whatever, the Giants are not doing that well. They are 2-5, Mr. E. Eagles 4-2. It was 28-3. Eagles, of course, coming through. And Giants, you all keep trying. Mr. E, he don't have high hopes for them. They're in his division, and he's not too pleased with them. And he don't mind them being on the low end of the stick.
I don't mind the Giants being on the low total pole. Yeah, last year they was wrestling with the Washington Commanders for who's going to be in last place. So now they're back where they belong, at the bottom of the totem pole. So New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, you got rid of him. Why y'all get rid of that man? And that man looked y'all in your eye on yesterday and ran the ball down your throat. I mean, he ran the ball down y'all throat, and y'all got rid of that man. That man scored. He got 2 touchdowns. He had 17 carries, had 176 yards.
Wow!
And he scored one touchdown on him.
Good morning, Sheila Robbins. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. E. Let's keep it going because the Raiders and the Rams they're about almost at the same place.
Bailey.
But I tell you what, the Raiders came through. The Rams came
through. Yeah.
I'm saying the Rams came through. The Raiders tried it. Yeah. 15-20, 20 for the Rams. We'll see what
Look at this bingo score on our next one. The Commanders against the Carolina Panthers. Now the Carolina Panthers 1-6. Now they have not won anything last year, and they only have win this year, and the Commanders beat them boys 40-7.
The Commander just played on their head. I mean, the whole time it was like, now listen, Panthers, you telling me you're going to absolutely do nothing?
But the Panthers did something yesterday. I got to get to the Carolina Panthers. They made that quarterback lay down.
Ooh.
That quarterback, that boy for the quarterback for the Commanders bruised ribs. They thought he had
Yeah,
cracked ribs.
absolutely.
So the commander did do something. They beat him down so that when they get ready to play us, he'd be sore, couldn't be able to hold the ball right.
Well, we're proud of you all this year because we talked about you, especially Mr. E, so bad last season. But anyway, they're making a comeback, Mr. E.
Right,
I think they're getting their second win. But let's go to the Chiefs and the 40s.
Magicians. The magicians came to
play.
Why
you call them magicians?
Oh, that boy ain't nothing but a magician. That Pat Mahomes ain't
he is
nothing but a
flea now. You telling the truth?
Look at you disappear right before your very eyes and beat you, laugh in your face too.
I had some folks was hoping that the 49ers would come through, but they didn't. Well, it was 28-18
that's
for the Chiefs.
And he did a poof. I'm gone. Put the ball in your face, put it in your face, and told you that you're gonna lose. So Patrick Mahomes, you trying to win another Super Bowl. Go ahead.
I tell you what, the Jets and the Steelers, that was no joke. What a great game. Poor Jets. They talking about them pretty bad. Aaron Rodgers, when you gonna step up? Well, but we want to say congratulations to the Steelers because we got a Steelers fan in here, and he is just proud. This season they are fire. They're 5-2, Mr. E, and they beat the Jets 37-15.
He was on pins and needles. He was on.
You think so? I don't think so.
Listen, even Tomlin mouth, the coach mouth was wide open when Russell Wilson got out there and threw that ball. Couldn't hit 5 yards. Threw the ball behind. I said, "Oops!" I said, "Now it's time to turn the TV out." Because I could not see my boy Russell Wilson go down the drain like that. When he threw a 5 yard, 5 and out, he threw it behind the man. He couldn't even throw the ball 4 yards. Then all of a sudden, I looked at the highlights of him. He done throw the 50-yard almost touchdown.
But you don't think they have any regrets with him coming back? He's doing all right. He's back. He got injured and all that stuff. You think they feel like he was a great pick? Well,
coming from the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos, now he's with the Pittsburgh Steelers with his pretty yellow cleats on yesterday. And I said, go ahead on, Russell. You ain't out yet.
All right, Russell.
They won and done.
Yeah, he has to stay in there. You got to work. He just had a little baby and everything. Now you better look and don't get injured no more. No more this season. That's it for you. But Mr. E, it was a great week 7.
That's right.
And also, look, I snuck over to the WNBA, the final game. Mr. E, the lady, look, that game was a good game. It was toe-to-toe after the second quarter, because the first and second quarter, honey, New York wasn't doing too much of nothing. But hey, they came through. It went to overtime, and baby, New York was in the house.
The Liberty came through for the WNBA and beat against the Lynx, and it was 67-62.
That's right.
But there was a call out there.
Tell.
There was a controversy about a certain call.
I know.
That they had to go and
replay
the whole 9 yards to see what was popping. So it was overturned. So that's how the Liberty began to They beat the Lynx 67-62.
Spike Lee was sitting there looking like, oh, come on, come through, please, New York. And the thing about it, it went into overtime, which really gave them a good chance of making it. But Mr. E, as I look at that game, it just seemed a little sloppy for a final game. The players, the ladies, were a little sloppy in my, and missing a whole lot of layups, a lot of well, it just something about it seemed a little bit feeling like it was amateur, a little bit. But the crowds were fire. People were, hoping that each team would win. You had coaches crying and everything, but New York did it. They did come through.
So I got to give it to my girl wasn't there. So
I know.
I was totally disappointed with the WNBA because the star was not there.
Well,
that Caitlin girl.
Caitlin didn't have to be there.
That star, the Caitlin girl, was not there, so I was totally disappointed. Also, want to let our listening audience know, Ms. Hinton, that tonight there are 2 games comes on. Tonight, that's at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The Baltimore Ravens playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Buccaneers, you might well get ready, because Jackson said that his idol was Patrick Mahomes. So now, then you got the San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers playing against the Cardinals. So that's going to be a good game. So I'm not going to stay to look at the first game, but I'll stay up and look the second game, but I'm going to stay up and look at the first game, which would be the Ravens and the Buccaneers, because the Buccaneers got to go down the drain.
Well, we're at week 8, and this is it's been good.
And when you look at week 8, you've got a whole lot of good ball games that's coming up this week. The Vikings play against the Rams on Thursday night, and then Sunday night you got the Eagles playing against the Bengals, the Ravens against the Browns, the Tennessee Titans against Detroit. That's the win for Detroit. The Cardinals playing against the Dolphins, the Jets against the Patriots, and you got the Falcons against the Buccaneers. You got the Packers against the Jaguar. Texas against the Colts. You got the Chargers against the Saints. You got the Buffalo Bills against Seahawks. The Panthers, they ain't won nothing against Denver Broncos. That's an easy win for them. And the Kansas City Chiefs will be playing against the Raiders and the Chicago Bears. Well, this is a loss. This is a loss for the Commanders, because the Bears are coming. That's right. The Bears are coming to town. And the Bears are not taking any hostages. So the Bears come ready to play. And then one of the biggest barn burners that's going to take and that's going to pack the stadium, and that's going to be the Cowboys. They're off from a bye.
Who are you all playing?
We're going to play against the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, now see?
Well, they're beat up, though.
That is going to be fire for sure. I tell you, week 8 is going to be all that. We're going to talk about it coming up next week. You all make sure you have your team and your rah-rah, and let's make this really, really a fun season. We want to say congratulations to the winners of week 7, and for the losers, you all keep trying.
That's right. When we look at the NFL standards, they put the NFL and the AFL in there together. For the AFC, the leader for the AFC East will be the Buffalo Bills. The AFC North will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. When you drop down there to the NFL, when you look at the AFC West, you'll find that the Kansas City Chiefs are there on top. And when you look at the NFL and the NFL East, you'll find that the Commanders are in first place, the Eagles are in second, and the Cowboys are in third. And in the South, you'll find out that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and in the West, the Seattle Seahawks are in the lead in their division.
Well, I tell you what, it's been great so far this season. We're going to keep watching. You all keep watching with us. Look, before we go, we have to remind you all how close we are to this election, November the 5th.
That's right.
And have you voted yet? Or are you going to vote? Make sure you go out there and vote. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. No excuses. Get yourself up, your family, your friends. Tell them to go out there. This is an important presidential race, but also we have the state and local elections.
Right,
and
right.
Mr. E just had 2 guests on, and they talked about, what they were running for,
on the
city local level, city council, and how important that is, your own city, your own, community. So we want you all to vote. Mr. E, what do you think? How can you encourage folks to get out there and vote?
Miss Hinton, that's what I did this weekend. I began to look at that movie on Netflix called Selma. If you have not seen Selma, make it your business to go by and look at that movie called Selma. It's on Netflix. You see the struggle that the African Americans had to do. They got Oprah in there, and they got different other actors in there. But the struggle in Selma for the right to vote.
Absolutely.
I mean, that Jim Crow law and the way that they beat up African Americans, they took baseball bats with barbed wire are wrapped around it and start to commit to beat folk. All they want to do is register and to vote.
Absolutely.
And now we got that opportunity. Listen, we got to make it our business to make them folks who went through the hell and back. Yep, they went through it, got beat, spit on, shot at, knocked down, thrown in the water. And we got to make them proud that the battle that they had to go through, it wasn't for lost cause. So if you're an African American man or African American woman, get out there and vote. Make it your choice. Go make it your business. To get out there and do what you got to do for your city, for your country, and for your family.
It is so important. Your vote counts. I don't care who you are. If you've grown enough to vote, get out and vote. You can vote early or you can vote November the 5th. But in the meantime, listen, thank you so much for joining us for Monday Sports Talk. We'll talk with you all over here for a few minutes. Have a wonderful day.
Make it your business. Have you voted yet, Miss Hinton?
I'm going to vote early. She sure is.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI with your host, Miss Yolanda Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. Don't forget to get out there and vote. Vote is very important for you. So make it your business. Go out and pull the level for your community as well as for your state and as well as for the world to put the right person in the right places. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on WGPL 1350, WMVA 88.9, Peace 95.3, and WPCE 1400 on all social media platforms. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Bye now.
Yes, don't forget to get out there and vote. It is important. It is important. This presidential race is important. Get out there, please. Vote for the right one.
That's right.
Let's make sure we keep things up and popping. Also, I want to remind you all again, Crystal Community Development Corporation, Young Women Achieving Success Program. We are recruiting girls 11 to 17 years old. We have a Zoom meeting. If you all want to make that initial Zoom meeting, just inbox me or just email me at crystocommunity@cox.net, CRISTO community@cox.net. And I will definitely get back with you and tell you how you can be a part of this program. We have some great upcoming shows. Keep a watch on that. We'll announce some of those on Wednesday. And also you can tonight we'll do a replay. We're doing a replay for our sports talk, and also you can be a special guest. You can be a special guest. First of all, before I do that, Yolanda Hinton's music, Make It All Right, and all the other music up there, go ahead and get it on download. You can be a special guest, internal sponsor with FYI. Mr. E's going to give you that tea.
I want to say good morning to Miss Sheila Robbins along with Mr. Chris Hinton. Thank you so much for tuning in. Miss LaWanda Tennant, thank you so much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. And if you'd like to be a special guest or sponsor or intern on FYI, give us a call at 757-714-7861. Again, that telephone number is 757-714-7861. Or you can email us at FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com. Again, that's FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com. Or you can inbox us at whatever's Facebook page, FYI Facebook page, or Miss Yolanda Lady Hinton's Facebook page. And don't forget, you can do that if you want something that you need us to put on for you to help the community to rise above mere survivors, to keep on keeping you in line and keep you in check, to let you know that there are jobs available. Tune in, to let you know to get out there and vote. Don't forget to tune in. That's what it's all about. For your information, to bring you nothing but the best to help you to rise above mere survival.
You all are a blessing. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to replay this evening. And don't forget to get back with us on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you so very much. Until then,
have a wonderful day.
2 up, 2 down, VA. By now. Don't forget the 3 that